Ohio State just absolutely suffocated Michigan. I mean, they just lined up and ran the ball down their throats.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership, where coaching wisdom meets real talk. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Throwdown Thursday edition, we have the grown-up conversation about the college football playoffs. We will recap rivalry week, and we will preview championship week. And with me today, I have my favorite administrator to help talk sense into all of us in terms of how this is going to work, Robert Abney. And Robert, let's just go ahead and get started with the SEC. So Texas won. Great win. Georgia won. But you know what? They didn't look good against the ACC. Ole Miss and their coaching situation, which is another story that we'll get to in segment 3 in greater detail as we pick teams, if you will. Oklahoma almost had a oopsie. Alabama almost had an oopsie, and that was a bad-looking Iron Bowl. You got to give love to Vandy. Man, if Diego Pavia is not at least sitting in the audience eating the chicken in the rice dish at the Heisman ceremony, then it's a travesty, or whatever Steve Sarkisian said. Bad losses by Texas A&M. How far did they drop? And Tennessee, that's a long year losing to Vandy. Well, Robert, there's only going to be 12 teams in the CFP, and there might even be a 3-loss SEC team there, which you whispered a few weeks ago. Don't be surprised. And I'm sitting here saying, come on, you can't have a 3-loss team. But if Alabama loses in the championship game that probably shouldn't take place, then what are you going to do? Robert, talk to me about the SEC, sir.
So, yeah, the SEC, I mean, they beat each other up. I figured Texas A&M would not make it through the season without a loss somewhere. Really chaps them that it came to Texas in Austin, because that's a classic little brother big brother game. I mean, and it's strange to say Texas A&M has 70,000 students and has more money than God, and they're a little brother to University of Texas. That's just a thing. And, don't add us Aggie fans, but it's true, and you know it deep in your heart. But yeah, there exists a possibility where a 3-loss SEC team gets in. They talk about the conference championship games, that the committee doesn't punish you for losing those games. So
they're going to punish.
Alabama loses, they would have 3 losses. They are currently the highest ranked at large team. So would that continue? I don't know. Does their they muddled through the game against Auburn. Does that performance affect them at all? Does that drop them at all? And does Texas's win over Texas A&M, does that bump them up at all? And if so, how far? I still see no fewer than 5 SEC teams in the playoff.
So, Robert, what about the fact that Alabama lost to like the 13th place team in the ACC? Shouldn't that matter? They did lose to Florida State. Florida State ain't had no good year. Because they're not going to bring that up on your favorite national show.
No, I mean, should it matter? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but it's really hard to compare losses, right? Is that loss worse than Texas losing at Florida? Probably. I mean, I would submit that's a worse loss. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
And we're not in the committee's heads, and this whole thing we're going through right here, just for anybody paying attention, is all of this is conjecture. We're just two guys. We're just two guys on a podcast, man.
Which takes us to the Big Ten. They comfortably have 3 teams in: Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. I don't want Indiana and Ohio State to play. That's just me, because one, that's going to be a barn burner of a game, and they're going to be hitting out there, and no one cares who wins the Big Ten championship. They're just playing a game that's going to probably hurt them going into the college football playoffs, but they're not playing for free. So it's like, rats, I got to play this, but I don't want to. Any thoughts on the Big Ten? Because there's nobody else to talk about. I don't care about Michigan. I mean, it's these 3 teams and nobody else.
Well, no, I will say this. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it's going to be that good a game. Ohio State just absolutely suffocated Michigan. I mean, they just lined up and ran the ball down their throats. And I mean, Indiana's good. They're a good team, and they're way better than they were last year. I don't see anybody in the country who's able to handle that. And the worst part of it for Indiana is this. I think that if they lose, they probably will still get a first round bye. But they're going to be number 4, which means they're going to turn around and play them again, which I don't like, but nobody cares what I think. I mean, I mean, and if I'm Indiana, if I don't fall to number 3, if I lose that game, and if I don't go to number 3, I'd rather fall all the way to number 6. I'd rather fall all the way down. Because then you're on the other side, right?
Yeah. All right, Big 12. Sorry, Utah, but you've got to go.
Yeah.
Thank you for losing Arizona State, strictly for entertainment purposes only. So go Wildcats. But we got a Texas Tech BYU problem. So, Robert, Texas Tech should win. They're a better team. But if BYU wins, we've got a problem for a lot of other teams. How are you feeling about the Big 12 this week?
No, I agree with you. I think if Texas Tech should win, if Texas Tech wins, they're the only Big 12 team. If BYU wins,
I
think Texas Tech is still in, which means either one of the SEC teams is out or Notre Dame is out. Those are the choices, right? So we'll see what happens with that, because right now that's where they sit.
Well, you gave me the great segue, because our Notre Dame correspondent, Jake Charlotte, sent this note. It's out of our hands now. 2 spots for us, Miami and Bama. Somebody's getting left out. And if BYU or Bama wins their conference title game, I'm going to quote them, we're toast. So with that, you've got a championship game with University of Virginia and Duke. And as I've said the last few weeks, you're banking on UVA to do it for your conference. Good luck with that. What are you thinking about the ACC, sir?
I mean, Miami still has an argument, but their losses are not good losses. And you can say whatever they played really well the last month of the season, and they beat the brakes off of Pitt. Okay, good. You had 2 bad losses in the middle of the season. And you probably are not it. You're probably not it. I'm interested to see, okay, does the committee reward them for beating Pitt because Pitt was ranked? Okay. Does Texas leapfrog them because they beat A&M? Those are the two things I'm interested in with that. Keep in mind that the possibility exists that no ACC team gets in because Duke is 7-4 and they are not ranked.
No, they're not.
And even if they win the ACC championship game, it is highly unlikely that they're going to be ranked higher than both the winner of the American, either Tulane or North Texas, and James Madison. Because if both of those teams are ranked ahead of Duke and Duke wins the ACC, there is no ACC team in the playoff.
And yes, I am rooting for Duke because I need show content. And that's great show content.
I am all about it. Let's go Devils.
Oh, man. All right. So in segment 2, we're going to talk about the Group of 5 conferences. And some teams helped themselves and some teams didn't. We'll be right back on the Coaches Podcast.
Today's student athletes face pro-level challenges without pro-level support. The CKA SAVE project is here to change that. For 16 plus years, Dr. Keith Adams and his team have provided comprehensive academic and athletic support from middle school through post-graduation transitions. NIL guidance, transfer portal navigation, academic coaching, career planning, they've got it covered. The CKA SAVE project. When your future is on the line, experience matters. Learn more at www.ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. Let's get to the Group of 5. 1, North Texas. There was a guy on this show said at the beginning of the year, hey, ain't going to be a problem. And that guy had a book this thick with all types of teams and so forth. And then we have another show panelist who's not here right now talking about Tulane. So you've got North Texas and Tulane. Robert, this is a mess. What are you thinking about the Americans, sir?
Well, I mean, it's actually not terrible. The winner of that game is probably going to be the 12th team in the playoff. Because I think they're going to be ranked higher than James Madison. Assuming James Madison wins their playoff game as well. But I mean, that's going to be a really, really good conference championship game. That I am planning on tuning in for that one. I think that's going to be a great game.
And aren't we losing a coach as well?
It will be interesting to see because the North Texas coach, he is coaching, but he is also the new coach at Oklahoma State.
Now, is that a good hire?
Well, it's a great hire. I'm not convinced that if I'm the North Texas guy, that's the job I want to take. Because, I mean, Stillwater. I mean, Stillwater is I mean, Norman is close to the airport in Oklahoma City. It is closer to Oklahoma City. Stillwater is kind of out in the country a little bit. It's the A&M school. And once upon a time, it was a pretty good job, and they were pretty good. I don't know if that is going to continue into the future just because, I mean, NIL money, all of that stuff. Oklahoma State is a true little brother in Oklahoma. So
now I've got to ask, because this is going to come up in segment 3, are you okay with North Texas letting this guy finish the season?
I think North Texas is correct in riding that in riding that horse as far as it can run. And if they get into the playoff, we know that there are residual effects for these mid-majors getting into playoffs, making deep tournament runs. We know there are residual effects of that, and I think that's what they're banking on. So,
all right, because that's going to be a topic of conversation in segment 3. But
and we all know what's going to happen is that guy's going to go to Oklahoma State, and we know he's taking a bunch of guys with him. We know that.
Yeah,
right? We already know that's happening.
All right,
but I say ride it as far as you can.
Okay. Mountain West Pac-2. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to tip my cap and say congratulations to New Mexico. So before we do anything, Robert, it is your floor, sir. Please shout out New Mexico.
Everyone's a Lobo. Woof, woof, woof. New Mexico has never played for the Mountain West Championship. The last time they were in a conference tournament was in the old WAC in 1997 when Brian Urlacher still played for the Lobos. That's how long it has been. And they've had a couple of years in between where they've been decent. This is as good as they've been. They run the ball. They play good defense. They have a great kicker. They don't make mistakes, and they wear you down. They are that's as good a New Mexico team that has ever taken the field. And they are in a four-way tie in the Mountain West with Boise State, UNLV, and San Diego State. New Mexico has a 2-1 record against the other three teams. And so does San Diego State. And there's some computer stuff going on. And what I saw earlier today is that it's highly unlikely that New Mexico and San Diego State will be left out of the conference championship game. And it's going to be Boise and UNLV probably playing in Vegas because you're going to make more money off that than you are playing a rematch of Albuquerque and San Diego State, New Mexico and San Diego State playing in Albuquerque. So that's what I think is going to happen. It's unfortunate. It's okay because New Mexico will gladly accept the bid to the New Mexico Bowl, which will sell out.
They got to go somewhere else, Robert, right? This is it.
I could see them like going to the famous potato bowl or something like that.
Nobody wants to go to Idaho.
The head coach is from Idaho. He literally came from the University of Idaho. I could see them going there.
I might as well stay home, man.
I'm not saying they're not going to, but almost every time a New Mexico team is bowl eligible, they play in the New Mexico Bowl because that helps the bowl game. Because you have to have a certain amount of attendance every year to keep for certification.
Yeah.
And that helps the bowl game keep its certification. And, they give away decent swag. It just is bad for them because they don't get to go anywhere. But you're in a bowl game.
Yeah.
Extra practice. You get extra practice for those guys who don't get on the field a lot. So that going into spring ball, you give guys a chance to get some tape. I mean, there's.
And this is probably the most you're going to hear outside of New Mexico about this. So I'm glad we've done that. All right. So the Sun Belt Conference. It's no secret. I'm Project JMU. And to quote my good friend Chris Caputo, head coach at George Washington University men's basketball, the fix is in. James Madison should be in the national tournament. They deserve this opportunity, but it's not a travesty or whatever Steve Sarkisian said. We know how the rule book works, and it's probably going to be a team from the American. But, man, JMU, just keep winning games, man. And you've been blowing people out of the water. So segment 3, I think you play Troy. We'll talk about it then. But I'm wishing you well. Robert, how mad should JMU be, or shut up, take your little bowl money and get out of here?
How mad can you be? I mean, you're 12-1. You're going to a bowl game. Yeah, I mean, again, you knew what the rules were. They had an opportunity.
They lost to Louisville.
If they beat Louisville, we're having a different conversation.
Yeah. All right, Conference USA, congratulations to the Blue Hens of the University of Delaware. They are bowl eligible. Now, whether they'll get in a bowl with the fancy rules of this, that, and the other, I don't know. But I do hope they get an opportunity. And Kennesaw State has made it to the championship game. So we'll talk about that championship in segment 3. Robert, any thoughts on CUSA, or it's bowl time and let's see who wins?
Hey, get after it. Enjoy the extra days of practice
Yes,
because not everybody gets them.
you're right. And speaking of enjoying the extra days of practice, Maction, Bowling Green won, Western Michigan won, Ohio won, Toledo won, and Miami of Ohio won. We're just going bowling, fans. So we'll talk about the championship game in segment 3. And in terms of HBCUs, Jackson State clinched the SWAC East title. They will play Prairie View A&M for the SWAC championship game on December 6th. And the winner of that game will take on South Carolina State in the Celebration Bowl December 13th. And there's an opening for coach at Hampton University. And what do you want that guy to do when you're the one moved conference? Like having a new coach is going to change these whippings that are coming. Ain't going to add no money to the conference. Any final thoughts on Maction or HBCU as we get ready to go bowling?
Nope. Again, enjoy the extra day of practice, the extra days of practice, because not everybody gets them.
All right. Okay, fans, segment 3, we're going to take our stab at it. 2 guys on the podcast to tell you what should happen with the committee. Not that they're going to listen to us. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches Podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 3, we are in championship weekend. So unlike usual, we'll just go to the rankings. We're going to go to the championships first and then see how we look about that. So Robert, Friday, December 5th, Conference USA, Jacksonville State against Kennesaw State. I think I'm going to go with Kennesaw State, strictly for entertainment purposes only, sir. Any thoughts on that, or are we going to say I hadn't seen them?
I actually have seen Jacksonville State and they're a good CUSA team. I haven't seen Kennesaw State, but I know that last year they won 2 games, so they've had a pretty good season turning
That's
things
a sneaky good Coach of the Year candidate. He should win something.
And good on him for that.
Yeah. All right. Sun Belt Championship game, Friday, December 5th. James Madison against Troy. James Madison, you need to win by at least 2 touchdowns to just say something. I don't know if you've watched Troy this year, but I'm rooting for James Madison.
I agree with that. And their best shot is to hope that the American game, which we're going to talk about here shortly, is a stinker, and James Madison beats Troy by they hang half 100 on them.
Yes, which takes us to the American Championship game, Friday, December 5th, 8 p.m. ABC. Bright lights, big city, New Orleans. You've got Tulane against North Texas. George is picking Tulane. Are you picking North Texas, sir?
Absolutely. Let's go meet Green.
All right. Mountain West Championship, as Robert told you in the previous segment, they're so screwy that they can't figure out who's going to win, who's going to play. I'm hoping for Boise strictly for entertainment purposes only because I picked Boise to win the Mountain West Championship game at the start of the season. Why do they do this every year, Robert? It seems like every year something's with the Mountain West Championship.
Well, they didn't all play each other. Like San Diego State and New Mexico played the other three teams. Boise and UNLV did not. UNLV is 0-2, as a matter of fact. They lost to Boise and New Mexico, but they're probably going to be in the championship game because that's what's going to happen.
All right. Saturday, December 6th, Big 12 championship game, 12 noon ABC, Texas Tech against BYU. AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World. Texas Tech's got to win, right, Robert?
I saw the last time they played, and Texas Tech is a real football team. This is not your grandfather's Texas Tech. They do actually play defense, and I don't see. I mean, could BYU beat them? Of course they could, because they are a capable football team, but Texas Tech should win that game easily. If that's the case, BYU is out. BYU has to win to get in the playoff.
Yes. All right, MAC championship game, Saturday, December 6th, 12 noon on the worldwide leader ESPN. Western Michigan versus Miami of Ohio. Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan. Good luck to both. All right, the SEC championship game. You've got Georgia against Alabama. 4:00 on ABC. I can't think either team wants to play this game at all. I won't go with winners on that. Let's just hope both teams are healthy. But I will say ACC Championship game, 8 p.m. ABC. The group chat will be buzzing if Duke hangs around. So you got Virginia versus Duke. Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina. Give me a winner, Robert.
I have not seen either team play. I know Virginia last year was bad, and the coach basically got a second lease on life, and he has turned it around. So good on him for that. I know Duke has hung around the past few years and won some games they shouldn't have won. Virginia does not want this game to be one of those. Because as we discussed earlier, if Duke wins, the ACC will not have a representative in the playoff.
Man, I can hear Mike King now saying there will not be one call that goes the way of the Duke Devils. Okay, I'm going to jump. Big Ten championship game will be played at the same time on Fox. So no one's going to – I can't wait for the ratings to come out for the ACC championship going against the Big Ten championship. Indiana, Ohio State. Lucas Oil Stadium, a quality venue, I must say. I don't want. Just don't get hurt, guys. Just don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, the winner of that game would be the number one seed, which
I think so.
Okay, good on you. Okay. I think the loser falls no further than I really do think the loser falls no further than 4. So they'll play again in the semis. But I do think that the loser.
But it's 1 and 2. I can't see the loser being 2 or 3.
The loser's not going to fall any further than 4. They could be 3, but they're not falling any further than 4.
All right.
The SEC, you skipped it. The SEC championship game. It doesn't matter for Georgia. They might lose a first round bye, but they're in. If Alabama loses, I am not convinced that they're still in. I think that increases the likelihood that there's a 3-loss SEC team. I guarantee you Texas is going to be rooting for Georgia. But I'm not convinced that, I'm not convinced Alabama's in if they lose.
All right, here we go. Get your pencils ready, fans. OCP college football playoff. So we got Georgia as the SEC champion. We got Ohio State as the Big Ten champion. We got Texas Tech as the Big 12 champion. We have Virginia as the ACC champion. And we have North Texas as the Group of 5 representative. It's only 12 teams. So now, in no particular order, I have Alabama still in. So there's the third loss SEC team, because the committee, not Keith Adams, the committee said they're not going to penalize participants in championship games. I didn't say that, they did. So that leaves Indiana, Oregon, Ole Miss, because they had a great year and their coach is on some other thing, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Jake, I still have Notre Dame in. Outside looking in, first team out is Texas. And man, Vandy, Jiminy Crickets. I wish I could get Vandy in there because they've been doing some work in Miami. I'm sorry, guys, but you can't lose 2 conference games and think I should care. And sorry to JMU, because I actually think you should be in there. Robert, where did I go right? Where did I go wrong, sir?
Do you take a 3-loss Alabama team over a 3-loss Texas team?
Yes, because they played for a championship, and the committee, not Keith Adams, say we're not penalizing teams in championship games.
Will the committee hold to that?
Now, again, that's a separate thing, but we're taking their rules. And we're taking every week that guy comes on TV and spouts off nonsense and the loudness. And by the way, Robert, and in our audience, I have to say, my wife's a trooper. She's listened to a lot of sports stuff when I was in Vegas. And what's the first thing she said? I have to turn off Stephen A. Smith. I'm sorry. I don't know why he's yelling. And she doesn't watch any of this. And I laughed my head off, because there's going to be a lot of people yelling, screaming, and hollering for no reason. But I got to say...
And we're not yelling.
No, we're not yelling. No. How are they going to penalize Ole Miss? Let's have the Ole Miss conversation. So, all right. Dr. Adams is season AD. It's not even a question. You made a choice. So, hey, Lane Kiffin is not a victim. I'm going to tell you that now. Zoom the camera in. Nope. He's not a victim.
Nope.
Nobody making $12 million a year. We're not going to feel sorry for you. You made a choice. So once you've made a choice, when, as my friend on the other end says, when somebody gives you their keys, you take them and we move on. So I heard Booger McFarland, who I love listening to on PTI, but stop with the feelings and the emotion. This is a business. And nobody's too far gone to see that, okay? So the committee is going to penalize Ole Miss, and I think they're going to drop them to 8, 9, or 10 and hope somebody beats them. And then Lane Kiffin's got to live with that the rest of his life, that he had a chance to win a national championship in Oxford, Mississippi, and chose to go to Baton Rouge, okay? How are you feeling about the Lane Kiffin stuff, sir?
I mean, we talk all the time about guys getting their bag, right? Lane, and the thing clearly he felt like he had a better chance to win a national championship in Baton Rouge than he did in Oxford. That's the deciding factor, because it was emphasized repeatedly that Ole Miss would match any financial offer that was made. And I'm sure that they did. He made a business decision, and I don't fault him for that. It's unfortunate for his team. I think Ole Miss, now Ole Miss should not let him coach. He's going to a rival. You put your keys on the desk, I'm taking them. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Right? Ole Miss should fall. And I think they will fall, which is going to be interesting for whoever has to play them, because they're pretty good. Now, will they be as good without Lane Kiffin? Will they have a chip on their shoulder?
Will we have a Steve Fisher, Michigan kind of thing?
Will some of those guys already be out the door with him? I don't know. I mean, we won't know until that day. But I mean, it definitely hurts Ole Miss, and I think they will fall for sure. What else?
I'm looking for a Steve Fisher, Michigan kind of thing. I will be rooting for Ole Miss to continue to move forward because I saw that team play. That's a good ball club. That is a very good team that can win. And anything with the tournament, all you have to do is win that first one. If you can win that opening playoff game, and this is now Coach Adams going in, you already got experience in the playoffs. So now I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're a rookie. I don't care if you're a freshman. Hey, you want a playoff game, let's go win another because you've already proven you can win one. And in terms of Lane Kiffin, two things can be true. If you're at Ole Miss, you are primarily recruiting the transfer portal because Oxford, Mississippi is probably not the most desirable location. And if you're at LSU, you can recruit both high school players because there's tremendous high school football there, and you're recruiting from the portal. So I get that, but I would have stayed in Oxford because if I can win 10 games a year, they're going to build a statue for me, and I'm the only show in town. And that's the selfishness of, hey, watch me. Watch my teams, watch my programs. When in New Orleans, there's just a lot to do there. It's just a lot going on.
Well, and as we said, right now we've got 5 SEC teams, right?
Yeah.
Texas is rooting for Virginia because Texas can't afford any chaos. Texas is rooting for and Notre Dame. Actually, Texas and Notre Dame are rooting for Virginia. They are rooting for Texas Tech because Notre Dame is probably still in. I still think there's a conversation to be had. 2-loss Notre Dame. Yes, they lost 2 games to 2 teams that are very good, that have been ranked the entire year. But who have they beaten that was a really...
And do you care about head-to-head? Do you care?
The committee doesn't appear to. I mean,
And no, I don't care about head-to-head. I could care less. I can't lie to you.
Right.
Because, who cares?
Well, and week 1.
Yeah.
Week 1. That was forever ago.
I know all of the games matter equally and blah, blah. Yeah.
No,
they won 10 straight and they beat everybody by double digits. And Miami lost 2 really bad games and no one cares, and shut up.
Right. But yeah, Texas and Notre Dame are rooting for, they are rooting for Texas Tech, and they are rooting for Virginia because they don't want any more chaos. Because if there's more chaos, if BYU wins, Texas has no chance. Notre Dame's probably out. Right?
Yeah.
Well, if that's Miami, just plan on going to the Duke's Mayo Bowl or something. I mean, because I don't see a world in which Miami gets in, even though they are by far the best team in the ACC. You had the opportunity to prove that on the field, and you failed.
Yes. So with that, fans, we will have more bowl information next week. We're probably going to tape this show later because the college football show comes on at 7, and I don't particularly care about the NBA's NFL Sunday night game. So we want to have as much information as we can to entertain you and incite you. So on behalf of our favorite administrator, Robert Abney, I'm Dr. Keith Adams, saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches Podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership where coaching wisdom meets real talk. Also seen on the Cascade Sports Network. Missouri had a good year. And we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on the X platform at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Keith Adams and the CKA Save Project on social media at CKA Save Project. For more information about the CKA Save Project, visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.